Good evening, everyone. This is going to be a bonus episode. And with me today for the bonus is BJ Boyd. And today we're going to talk about and roll up a character for Top Secret New World Order, a role-playing game by Merle M. Rasmussen. And BJ is going to be what is it called? Referee, GM,
The administrator.
the administrator for this session. And he's going to run us through some Top Secret New World Order at some point. But first, we'll make a character. All
Okay.
right, take it away, BJ.
Okay, here we go. So this is Top Secret by, as I said, Merle and Rasmussen. And I think I mentioned in an episode that I met Merle at North Texas RPG Con. He signed a copy of the rule book from the box set. I got to chat with him for a little while because the vendor had stepped away for a little bit and we were waiting on him to get back so I could actually pay for the thing he signed. And so I got to visit with him a little bit. He's really, really nice guy. And I know this version wasn't really well received by a lot of people because it was just too different from the original Top Secret. This, I think if I understand, the original Top Secret is sort of a percentile dice based system, and this is a dice pool, much more, I think, reminiscent of Cortex. If you're familiar with the Cortex system that Margaret Weiss Studios developed for Marvel and for Firefly role playing game.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit of like Savage Worlds as well, because the size of your dice increases as your skill or your ability in an area increases, and it goes into the dice pool. And we'll explain that when you make a character. I think the other thing that, if I understand correctly, is this was kind of rushed at the end to fulfill Kickstarter, and so the rule book is kind of rough. I think the company that developed it has since been bought, or this has been bought by somebody else. I'm not 100% sure, but so the the book has kind of a rough layout and sometimes not really well organized. But I think that the core game, once you kind of understand what's in there, it makes a lot of sense on how it works. So,
Cool.
let's see. So let's scroll through the credits here, and we'll just put the book up on the screen for reference. Although again, it's kind of, so this is New World Order. The presumption is that your spies working for Icon, which is, I believe it's what does Icon stand for?
Should be on there, right? Icon.
Yeah, it's the
The secret organization.
International Covert Operations Network. So it's a fictional spy agency which allows you to have characters from all over the world. Presumably, you're working on the side of NATO, the UN. Somebody, it never really specifies, but I think it's provide you're working. The U.S., Britain, Germany, France. Allied and friendly countries, or people who have defected from countries that are not friendly. And so I think partially because the original Top Secret was about the Cold War. This is a post Cold War espionage game. So you're probably more fighting, international terrorists, rogue states, organized crime, things like that. So, but the administrator is the title of the game. Always has, I think, the title of the game master. In fact, that's how Merle Rasmussen signed the book, as Merle, the administrator, Rasmussen. That's sort of his permanent title. How he signs all his Top Secret autographs. He's the original administrator. So what you've got here is you've got a number of ability scores, which we'll go through, and that's the first die in your dice pool. They're ranked from D4 to D12.
Okay.
If you ever increase them, you can step them up to the next higher size die. Then you're going to have a set of skills. That's the second die in your die pool. Again, they're ranked D4 to D12. They're derived from your abilities, and they're much easier to improve as you gain experience point or mission points in this. And what took me a little while to figure out, there's kind of I wasn't sure what to do when you have a D12 and it's time to increase it. And from poking around on the internet, you're supposed to add a D4 to the die pool, so your skill can actually be increased to a D12 plus D4, D12 plus D6. They can be increased 5 steps over the course of your career. So
Okay.
you start off something pretty high, you can get up there. You don't use a D20, you just start adding
An
more
extra
dice to the
D4.
die pool. Yeah,
Okay.
and then it's a if you step it up again, you add a D6 and you replace that D4 with a D6 and so forth. So because I thought maybe you get the funky dice like we use in DCC, so you have a D2, or maybe you go from a 12 to a 14 to a 16, but then even after the 16 you've got to start increasing it.
Yeah.
So the recommendation, which doesn't make it into the book, but I think people from chatting with the publisher, not with Merle, but with the other guy who helped design this game, is you're supposed to add a D4, just start over with a new set of increasing dice from 4 to 12 when you start stepping up. And then there's
Okay.
a third die, and this is another thing that isn't really clear in the rules. I think they've actually revised that there's a third die that they call a decision die, and that's supposed to be based on the difficulty of the task. It's kind of presented backwards here because they talk about using an asset die based on if you're firing a weapon, the weapon may have a die, and the administrator is just supposed to assign the value to any other assets you may have if you're using a computer or some kind of piece of technology. It doesn't really tell you what to do. It just says up to the administrator. It doesn't give a
Okay.
default or anything. So that's really confusing. But I think the intention is that the asset die either replaces or enhances the decision die. In the original rules, it's presented as it's either or, but they've since clarified that sort of the what was called an asset die, say for a handgun or a submachine gun or a sniper rifle, really it's should have been called a decision die. That's the inherent challenge of effectively using that weapon. And that versus if you're just trying to say climb over a wall, there's the inherent difficulty of climbing over the wall might be assessed at a D6 or a D8, depending on how tall the wall is, what it's made of, things like that. So you're always rolling base 3 die unless you've got a skill that you have particularly enhanced up past the D12. Then you'll be adding a second die to the die pool to that. By default, you're trying to beat a 13. Lucky
Okay.
13, that's the default. But what happens is, as the mission goes on and time wears on and you face more and more setbacks, that starts to creep up to a 14, then to a 15, then to a 16. So you get some tension build up where things become more difficult until you get a number of successes that kind of push it back down towards a 13.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I think it reminds me conceptually to maybe the momentum that you see in Modifius games, but it's not quite the same. You don't spin stuff. It's just that moves up and down based on your amount of success and failures, the tension and the stakes increase and decrease, or the pressure gets on.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, similar
uh,
to Index RPG, I think.
yeah,
Or
yeah, where there's the room has a challenge number. Well, here it's
right,
always a 13, but as based on how well you're doing on the mission, you can make it more difficult for yourself.
right.
Um,
Or I guess easier as if
yeah,
you succeed, right?
yeah. And then
That's a little bit of a
that's
difference.
assuming you're doing a task against kind of based against the environment or an inanimate object. When you're actually working against an NPC, then it's a posed roll. There's a
Mm,
dice pool roll that the administrator will roll for that NPC, and then whoever rolls higher wins.
okay.
Um, so that's kind of again, it's a real simple, straightforward, easy to understand, I think, mechanic, but it wasn't really spelled out that clearly in the rules. One of these guys, I think it's Scott Kongable. It's a guy from Minneapolis who has like the longest running top secret New World Order campaign. It's still ongoing, and he's
Mm,
interacted a lot with the game designers. And he's supposed to have a New World top secret New World Order um, companion coming out sometime in the next year or so that clarifies some of the rules and includes some of the errata and things like that, and kind of smooths things out. But we'll look at one of his sort of house homebrewed things here in a minute
okay.
that I thought was pretty neat. Um, so there's a number of ways you can get your attributes. Um, your attributes are nerve, suave, pulse, which is your physical kind of strength and constitution. Um, So nerve is overall emotional well-being, willpower. Suave is your charisma. Also be kind of your strength and
Mm-hmm.
constitution. Intellect is your obviously your intelligence. Um, and then reflex is your dexterity. So
Okay.
those are your five attributes. Um, they give you a number of options on how to do it. One is to roll a D100.
Okay.
The other one is just to assign that I've got two possible arrays. You get I see here you can either do a balanced array, which is you get one at a D4, two at a D6, one at a D8, one at a D10, or you can have a highly specialized agent, two at a D4, one at a D6, one at a D10, and one at a D12. Um,
Okay.
what I did when I made some of those core those three kind of regions for you guys to look at,
Yeah.
I actually did a D4, a D6, two D8s, and one D10 just to not be that highly specialized, the balance, but give you just a little bit more of an edge.
Okay.
Um,
Well, for this one, let's do it randomly.
okay, all right,
And then we'll see what, and then we can be it like emergent and see what he best fits, right?
okay,
Are we going to do it
all
in
right.
order? We do it in order?
Um, Let me switch back to the sheet here.
It says
Um,
in
Roll percentile
order.
die and a side
Yeah.
die based on the result.
Okay.
You could do it either way, but yeah, let's do it in order.
Okay.
And I've got a. This is a pretty cool. This is the I got from a guy I kind of chatted with online.
Mm-hmm.
I found this sheet linked to a PDF he has up on drive through, and then he wound up having like four different like really cool spreadsheet based tools that kind of help automate some of this stuff, including plug numbers in, and it gives you a nice clean nice looking character sheet at the end.
So we're going to do
So the
the,
first thing we're going to do is your attributes. So
so,
and then here's another even generation method here, which is 2d6 plus one, and then
okay.
you so but percentile die is what's in the
Okay.
book. So
Let's do it in the book. Ready? The first
okay,
one, you got it memorized?
uh, okay. Here's the table right
All right.
here.
So the first one, 38.
38. That's a
D6.
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 So your nerve
Nerve
will
is a
be a
D6.
D6.
Yep.
Okay.
So suave
Next.
is next, right?
Mm-hmm.
85 for suave.
That's a D12.
Wow, dude, he's suave. Or
You
she,
got
or she,
you got James Bond level suave there.
maybe. What's the next one?
Connery suave anyway. Maybe not
Maybe.
the others, but the next one is
What was the next one?
Pulse.
Pulse. What is Pulse like your con?
That's your strength and con. Yeah.
Technical con. 38. That's gonna be a D6.
Yep. Okay.
Intellect. 36. That's also a D6. Probably. Yeah, it is. It's a D6. And then reflex. What's reflex gonna be? 55. That's a D8 probably.
That's a D8. Yep.
D8 for reflex.
That's a pretty good agent right there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good agent.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All
So
right.
you've got those. Okay.
Okay.
And you kind of see right here where the book has got some um you'll see where there's sort of it talks about clearance level, reputation. It starts to give
Mm-hmm.
you a reputation table, and then it'll jump into another topic without finishing one. So I think they were just trying to fit the tables onto the pages to get it to fit in the
Okay.
book.
Yeah.
But
So you
you
start.
have a reputation as an agent.
Okay.
Um, and you start with a I believe you start with a 0.
Probably makes sense.
Um, but it's rated on a die in case you ever need to like roll for the effects of your.
Mm-hmm.
And so it could go, to D4 to a D6 to a D8 to a D10 to a D12. Has a D20, although it says this level is not currently available. I imagine the plan was for there to be expansion for more advanced high level agents who might
Oh,
get that
maybe.
sort of,
Yeah.
super international kind of, you know. So the higher the reputation possible is D20. If any agents will ever reach this level of renown, a D20 reputation is the person is in question is both famous and beloved on the order of a celebrity or national hero. So maybe James Bond in certain, he doesn't pretend he's someone else. Everybody knows him when he introduces himself if they don't know him on site, right? At least in the espionage community.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
So
but
the
I believe
reflexes. So what was Suave again?
Suave
You-
is kind of like your charisma and persuasiveness.
Okay. All right.
So I believe you start with a um, yeah, you start with a 0 reputation, and you'll
Oh
earn
yeah, I guess you.
reputation points as you complete missions.
Yeah, if you go back to that character sheet. So like it looks like you can look at method. It says method. You look, or you can toggle that or under attributes. Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
It
Cool.
just came to this
Nice.
table over here, so you can
That's
see.
cool. Okay.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so you
Okay.
can see what those that would have told us, so we wouldn't have to switch back
I
and
know. I
forth.
switch back and forth. All right.
Okay. Um, and then
Okay.
you'll have a clearance level as well, which is within the icon agency, which your
Hmm.
clearance level is.
So
Um,
reputation is 0 and probably clearance is D4 to start with.
yeah, is a D4. See how it jumps over to clearance level
Yeah.
table over
Okay.
here, but it starts to talk about your background there.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Um, so uh, yeah, it's just that will actually automatically go up. There's a formula in here. Once you get enough clearance level points,
Hmm.
it'll automatically increase your thing to a D6 when you get enough points.
Okay.
So again, this is a really good automated sheet.
Cool. All right.
Um, background before an agent is recruited. This is what you are before you become an agent.
Okay.
Um, and it can be just about anything. I think you can roll for it. I
Oh yes,
believe,
roll for it. We're rolling
yeah,
everything.
you can roll a D20.
All right. What was he? A suave and quick 84.
No, D20, not a
Oh,
percentile.
well, 84 divided by 5. I'll roll a D20. 15.
15,
Military.
military. Okay.
All right.
So we will background military.
Okay.
Okay.
If you're bigger, it could be Reacher. It could be Tom Cruise Reacher.
Tom Cruise Reacher. So there's the background.
Okay.
Whenever you attempt a task where your background is relevant, you can roll your attributes die twice and take the higher number. So you're rolling with advantage.
Yeah, that's crazy. If I need to
So
do something in liaison with the military, roll suave twice.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Cool.
okay, and then you can have an impairment. That's an optional rule to take an
Okay.
impairment. What
Is that
happens is
also random?
the impairment will give you allow you to take one extra skill. The trade off is whenever whenever it's kind of like the opposite of the background. Whenever you do something and that impairment is relevant, you roll your attribute with disadvantage.
Okay. Cool.
So, but the benefit is you get one additional skill set.
I think that's worth it. Is it random?
It can be. There's a whole. Here's one where you'll roll a percentile.
Okay. Of course we're gonna do this.
And so, some of
Oh,
these are kind of not much of an impairment, and some of them are like, oh no, but hey, that's the way the dice work, right?
76, yeah.
76.
Phobia.
A phobia. You have a strong,
Appendix
unreasonable
P.
phobia. So we can roll for a random phobia if you want.
Okay.
Let's see. Where's your impairment?
Narcolepsy.
Phobia. And then we'll go
Appendix P.
to the end of the book to Appendix P. Let me find it.
It's right after Appendix N. No, it's after Appendix O. A. Electric
Yeah, I don't know if
shock.
there are that many appendixes or if they just called it Appendix P because it's P for phobia.
E. E.
There it is. See, it's
Okay.
actually an Appendix B,
Okay.
I think. Yeah, it's Appendix B.
B. B for
There's a
phobia.
typo there. Yeah, there's a typo there. It's actually Appendix B
All right. So
because it is the
first it's
second
a.
appendix.
All right. So I roll a D10 and then I roll a percentile dice. So I'll do it all together.
Um,
So, oh no. A 10. Yeah. I got a
So
10. So
that's the reaction is
yeah,
you get
nausea.
nauseous, and then that's your reaction to whatever you're.
39. 39. See how funny this is. Silly.
Uh,
39. Oh my
the fear
God.
of cotton balls and plastic foams, even their sound. I would include styrofoam cups in that. So
Oh my gosh.
so
That
you're
makes
you're
that makes kind of
so,
sense.
so, so
That's
you're trying to be
funny.
suave. You're trying to be suave. You're trying to do a stakeout, and they have you meet them at Starbucks, and they hand you a cup, and you're like, "Ugh."
Well, those aren't styrofoam though,
Oh, well,
but
so,
oh, Dunkin' Donuts cups are though.
yeah, yeah.
I'll
So
probably be like, no, no, no. They go, oh, I'm gonna get some coffee. I'll say, where are you going? Dunkin' Donuts. I'll pass.
so singophobia,
Yeah,
and your reaction is nausea.
nausea. That's funny. You have to make that come out and play.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
All right. And
All right.
gastrointestinal distress. That's funny.
Okay.
All
All
right,
right.
that's next.
Next, we got to go back to the
All the way back to the
yeah, which is the flipping is that bad when you got the print book, but when it's a PDF, it's kind of a it'd be nice if it was hyperlinked, right?
right, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so like Eclipse Phase, totally hyperlinked, but it's supposed to be like a
Yeah.
high tech, so All right, so we did impairments. The next,
Okay.
that wasn't so bad.
Uh,
It's kind of funny actually.
yeah. Background impairments. All right. Languages.
Okay,
All languages begin their career speaking at least one language. So we need to know your nationality. That will tell us what your language is.
okay. Is there a nationality table?
I don't think so. I think you just pick. Yeah, you can just pick, or you know what? You could roll for a random language and say that's your native language.
Nationality, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, how
but there's only 69 on here. Is there a way to roll a d69?
unless above that is American. I don't know.
Tradecraft. Let's see. Languages, characters, languages are rolled randomly from the language tree by rolling a 6 for the tens column and a d10 for the ones column.
Okay. Six and a one, six and a D10.
Mm-hmm.
42.
Okay. 6 for the tens column and a
Mm-hmm.
d10 for, okay, so 42
Roll a
is,
D4 to see how many languages I speak.
yeah. 42 is Lithuanian.
Okay.
So you could actually be born in Lithuania, or you could be part of a Lithuanian community in another country.
Okay. So he's got uh two languages, so English, and I will look up if it's probably English and then Russian, likely. Might not be a native Lithuanian.
You got two languages, you said?
Yeah, so you get your native and two languages.
Depending on what you roll. Yeah.
I rolled two.
Roll a d4 to determine the number of language. A one indicates they speak only their native language. So you only get one extra language.
Good.
So
So more than 80% of the country's 3.8 million population speaks Lithuanian. So it's gonna be Lithuanian and English.
okay.
It's close to Latvian. That's a
Roll
small
a
country.
d4. Once your languages are chosen, roll a d10 for each language to turn their proficiency. Although I think you get a d12 in your native language automatically. So you just roll a d10 to determine what your proficiency is.
In English, it's just be funny. I'm not gonna do an accent.
I
An
wouldn't even know how to
eight,
do a
an eight,
Lithuanian.
an eight.
Okay. Um, so that's a
Fluent.
D10. You're fluent. I.
Oh, okay, cool. That's good. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10. 10.
Okay.
Neat. Okay. Fighting styles is next or something.
Tradecraft. So this is your actual skills.
Okay.
So that's the overall term for there's these broad skills, and then you get the proficiencies within you get to pick. So broadly speaking, um, there's signals intelligence or SIGINT, which is the use of intercepting communication, electronic, conventional, analyzing communication for meaning. There's human intelligence, which is the skill of relating to personal interactions. There's technical operations, and then there's combat. So those are your four, broadly speaking, your four areas. And you have to pick one that's weak, one area that you're weak in, and you're going to get a downgrade on your die for that. But before you pick, I'm going to
Okay.
show you how we derive them. Okay. So SIGINT is derived from your intelligence.
Okay.
Let's see, where are those on here? Tradecraft. Okay. So see, you got a D12 there.
Okay. A
All right.
D6.
They have human intel. Okay. I skipped something here. Human intelligence is your suave or nerve, whichever is higher. So you got
Yeah.
a D12 on that
Mm-hmm.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
SIGINT intelligence, SIGINT is based on your intellect, which is a D6.
Okay.
I believe technical is also based on your intellect, and combat is based on your reflexes.
Okay. So I got to choose one that's
So you got to choose one that's your weak area, and that's going to downgrade the die by one step.
tech.
Tech. So your
Yep.
tech will go down to a D4.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
But his human is like he's like that.
Yeah.
What's that dude? What's that show where that guy, the mentalist?
Oh yeah. Where he's just a fast. He's well, he was a con man, wasn't he? He pretended to be a
I think
psychic.
so. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So now you choose specialized skills. So there are a number of specialized skills here: asset handling, analysis, black bag ops, climbing, cryptography, deception, driving. There's a bunch of it. May be easier to show on this spreadsheet here.
Yep. Oh wow.
Yeah, there's all the
Okay.
different. So you've got um, analysis, asset handling, black ops, climbing. I'm sorry, yeah, climbing, cartography, deception, driving. Actually, it might be easier to see it on this here because
Yeah.
if I can zoom in a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
See why they didn't just put that column like
Yeah. So how many do I get?
right. You get each field of trade graph. So you got basic train. See, some agents, however, choose to specialize points. I think you get 5 unless you took a
Impairment.
impairment, and then you get 6.
6. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
That's what I read there. Okay, that's cool. All right. Let's look. Let's look. I'll choose as quickly as I can.
whoops, sorry, I moved the
Back.
moved the page on
Back.
you. There we go.
All right. Let's see. I feel like okay, so I get 6, right?
Yep, 6 of them.
What is I think asset handling for sure.
Okay,
I saw that. What's asset development? Hold on.
and you get all the skills that fall under that. So asset handling gives you
Yeah.
all of those skills at one step. So see, because you're at a D12 already,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
when you choose that as a specialty, now you got a D12 and a D4 in your dice pool for it.
Okay. All right. So five, five more.
Mhm.
Um, Deception.
Same thing. You're going to get a
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Oh, driving's under combat. That's cool. Okay.
Mhm.
Uh,
Well, it starts off, the base die starts off as your combat die, and then it steps up if you specialize in it.
yeah. Um, and then I don't know if I want to get, see, I'll get,
And you might want to take some things you might have learned in the military because
yeah, I know. I'm
you'll
thinking
get more die.
marksmanship weaponry under
Okay.
combat.
The way the martial arts work
Mm-hmm.
is you actually um
Interrogation, I think I'll take two. And hand-to-hand combat, and I got one more.
so with hand-to-hand combat, what happens is you have to pick a style.
Okay.
And every time you step it up, you get a new hand-to-hand combat style. It actually doesn't improve. You have to improve the hand-to-hand because it's only one skill.
Okay.
You have to actually improve the hand-to-hand
That's
combat
kind of fun.
skill overall instead of.
What's paramilitary?
So paramilitary is going to be things like close quarters combat, um, uh, evading live fire. So it's kind of training of being on the battlefield when people are actually trying to shoot you or stab you or
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Hmm. I feel like maybe that instead of hand-to-hand. Plus
I mean,
quarter.
there's also survival,
Mm,
street delivery, soft skills, parachuting, psyops, piloting.
let's go soft skills again. But I have so many. I mean, it just becomes nah. No. Memory palace. That's weird.
You ever watch Sherlock?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some of these up here analysis. Um, Black bag ops is your kind of thief skills. Um, Climbing, cryptography, driving, electronic communication, electronic surveillance, explosives, first aid, forensics, forgery, guerrilla guerrilla tactics is another one that would be kind of military in nature.
Yeah. So what I have, I don't know. I probably would take off the hand-to-hand then. I don't feel like take off the
Okay,
hand-to-hand. So how many do I have left?
you have two left. Then
What do I have so far? Humanant,
you
marksman.
have you have asset handling, deception, marksmanship and weaponry, interrogation.
I got two left. Okay.
You got two left.
All right. I like that paramilitary.
Okay, that's probably a good one to have if you're not trained in a actual hand to hand because
Yeah.
close quarters combat gives you a little bit of survivability in hand to hand combat.
And there was I think there was like a signet that I was interested in. A signet I was interested in.
Forgery, um, cryptography, analysis.
So Black Bag Ops has a lot of fun stuff though.
Yeah, that's like carjacking, picking locks, hot wiring cars, covering your tracks.
Yeah, I feel like Black Bag Ops seems like very kind of fun stuff.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
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 Okay. That's all your skills.
Yay. Okay.
Okay. Specialized. There's your skill descriptions here.
Hmm.
Okay. And then so there's a big list of equipment. But what
Yeah.
they say is the way the game works is you don't have equipment. The agency gives you equipment based on the mission briefing.
Right.
You can look at the briefing and request additional equipment. And based on your clearance level, if you're a newbie spy, they're going to give you a gun and a phone. And
Um,
but once you get up and kind of have higher clearance level, you can start requesting things like, yeah, I need a Ferrari, to my cover, or I need more fancy gadgets. Um, so really, you don't have to. Choosing equipment is actually part of each mission. You kind
okay.
of go through the whole, like, you go visit Q and he tells you how everything works, and
Nice.
so you don't really have to equip a character at character creation.
Okay. So is it like, are we done now?
Well, you just get in. I think you need a name.
Oh, Mattis John
Let's see.
Jonkowskis.
Yeah, character name
Matis.
Maxis
Mattis, like Matthew, but
Mattis. Mm-hmm.
Jonkowskis. Jankauskas. It's like the most common male first name and the most common Lithuanian last name.
Hey, do you have any known aliases?
Kas, by the way.
Yes.
Any
All right.
uh any aliases?
I mean, you can fill in later if you want, but, like, you can know as his height, weight, hair color, eye color, distinguishing features,
Hmm.
uh, um, more detail on your background and history. Uh, Here's your attributes. You got your weak area. So really, it's just you don't have a fighting style. So really, it's just going to be equipping your character
Oh wow.
uh, at each mission. You can put a pic portrait in here, and it'll put it onto the character sheet.
Ooh.
Um, and then there's some other. This is kind of neat. It's got some other places where you can, like, you know figure things for your equipment. But the cool thing is this cover sheet puts it all together. It looks like a dossier for
Oh, neat.
the character. You can
That's
even do a
cool.
print version that'll look like.
That's cool. Doesn't seem
So
like it's a
what happens is you've got a wound track for every
okay.
step of your pulse.
Hmm.
So you would mark off wounds on a D6 track, and then it goes down to this D4 track. If you had a more pulse, it would be higher.
Okay.
The interesting thing is, if I can find this here, let's see, where are the options? Your input. You can. There's your speed. There's your health.
And how action points? What's that? That like how many
Um,
actions you can do in a round or
yeah, give me just a second, and I'll explain that.
equipment?
Where's that other efficiency attributes? Health point method. So the original one, these are just options. I'll show
Mm-hmm.
you. Is that you've got a number of points in each level equal to the value of the die.
Yeah.
So that would give you 10 hit points altogether instead of 20. And they've kind of eroded it to where you get 10 points across each level, even at the 12. It's just worth 10 hit points if your pulse was a D12.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the staggered where it's it's less for each die, but this makes for less resilient. I think they found that the other just giving you 10 per level makes it easier to survive the mission.
Yeah.
This was maybe you're a little too fragile this way. So
So you get 10 plus your pulse stuff or whatever.
yeah, and under the eroded version, you just get 10 for every die value or every level of your. Let me put it back there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Something else that's
So
really
you have
cool
20.
though.
So I have 20 hit points.
Yeah, now you have 20 because I put it back on having 10 per level.
Gotcha.
So with action points, what happens is every round is has I believe 12. It's kind of like segments from AD&D. Every round has 12 ticks,
Okay.
and based on your reflex, you start going. You can go, at a 12 if that's what or you can wait to count down. And every action takes a certain amount of action points. So like most of them take, I think, 2 or 3. And so if you have, say, your what is your your reflex is a D8, so you can't go until an 8.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do something that takes 3 points, you can go again at 5. You can go again at 5.
Okay.
So it lets you do multiple things per round, and the people with more reflex who are
I like
faster can
that.
do more
Yeah.
things per round, and they can act sooner.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
so you don't roll initiative; you just go. And I think there's a tiebreaker rule in there if 2 people are supposed to go at the same time. I have to look it
Okay.
up. Um, so that's kind of there's 3 things to keep track of: your dice pool, your action points, and then when you're not opposing an NPC, where your target number is. But it's again, it's generally 13, but it can inch up, as missions start to go south and become you're more stressed out because things aren't working out for you. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Well,
whole game. I
that's
mean,
it.
I mean the weapons. Let me see
Can
if I
you?
can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you a weapon in here just so you can see kind of how it works.
Yeah. It
Just
probably has
let
like a
me find
pistol.
it in the table.
It seems like more of a. It has marksman, but he's probably more of a pistol guy.
They've got pistols, submachine guns, and long guns. Where there's Lucky 13.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Explaining that. But I know there's a table somewhere in here where we've got handguns, action points. You got a number of action points equal to your reflex die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Fighting styles. So if you pick a fighting style, your combat die becomes the third die that you roll
Yeah.
again for that third die in the die pool.
Mm-hmm.
But depending on what you're trying to do, say if you're trained in boxing, you get to up that die one more step if you're striking someone, but you take a downgraded if you're trying to grapple because boxers aren't trained to grapple. Judo,
Okay.
you
Yeah.
get to upgrade the die by one step. You're trying to throw somebody down for a hold, which that makes sense to me because judo's about holds, and throws. But okay, so here you go. So here's some weapons. So you've got ranges. So you look at the range, and then it's got the this die here.
That's the third
They
dice you
call it
shoot.
the asset die, but that's the third die you roll. So the
Okay.
closer you get with a handgun, the bigger the die, a better chance to hit.
Oh,
And then
damage.
you've got
Damage
and then you
decreases
got
with range.
damage. Yeah,
They used to do that in Mega Traveler.
yeah. So,
All right.
but
Glock
the other cool
17.
thing that this that Scott Congable has created
Mm-hmm.
for homebrew is you get a fancy spy watch and a fancy spy phone just automatically.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to customize your watch.
Okay.
It's like a Dick Tracy, James Bond style, and depending on your clearance level or which is your character level, you get to add more features to the watch, but you get to customize it. So Um, I think that's back over on the, that's just a description, but on the input sheet, they've got it on here. Yep. And I like that it's a citizen watch because I like citizen watches myself. So,
That's funny.
but you get 6 points as a novice agent, and you can pick which of these things you want to put into your watch.
Neat.
So you can have a bug and camera finder. You can have a chemical trace analyzer. You can have a cell jammer. You can have an electromagnetic, a GPS, flash drive,
How much?
network
So
penetration
bug
tool, a
camera
Garrett.
finder, bug
Yeah,
camera
like
finder. How
it'll
much is that?
you can like
Yeah,
that is if you want to use it twice a day,
I just
that's
twice a
one
day sounds good. And how about
that's 1 point
EMP? EMP down at the bottom. No, down at the bottom. That's
down the
electromagnetic.
bottom. 10-foot radius is 2 points. 20-foot radius is 4 points.
I get a 10-foot radius is fine.
Okay.
I got 3 more points.
Yeah, you got
How much is a garrote? That's just mean.
1 point. Laser cutters, you get a blinding flash, flashbang effect.
How much is that?
Worldwide beacon or tracker. What, the flashbang?
Yeah.
10-foot, 90 degrees for 10 rounds, 10-foot, 135 degrees for 12. Oh, that's going to go over your budget.
Yeah. Nope. Nope. Nope.
But 10-foot gives you it's 1
Yeah,
point.
that's perfect. Now I got one
You got
more.
1 point left.
Wow, that's a lot. GPS is good. GPS is.
There you go. And then as you level up, you can either swap
Yeah.
out features or you can add features. So it's a spy watch.
Cool. Cool. Nice. That's fun. Yeah,
Okay.
probably take a Glock 17.
There's melee weapons.
Yeah.
And he's also just got on here uh this this isn't, you don't have pick. I don't know where the term black church phone encrypted phone comes from. I Googled it and couldn't find it because when I when, when I Google black church encrypters,
What?
but based on your clearance level,
Yeah.
then the phone also has certain features, and they just
Oh, that's cool.
are
That's fun.
automatic.
That's fun.
Um, so, but that's just so that's pretty forward once you work a particular spreadsheet tool and just plug things in, and
Yeah, it's really helpful.
they've included. There's been a couple of supplements with mission weapons and
Cool.
board again, and I'll go through a little technical error there.
Yeah.
So anyway, the
I used the
smartphone,
EMP pulse on my
yeah,
watch.
with the smartphone that I got on this supplemental thing, it's just you don't choose features; they're just based on your clearance level.
Okay.
So you have a cellular comm device, it's cellular communications, cellular data, a fingerprint reader, and then to start off, you get a +1 die to the bug camera finder that's actually in the phone. So if we were going to let you have the phone and the watch, you might want to pick a different feature for your watch.
Oh, but it gives it a +1 die, so to
Yep.
find it. Okay. Oh, okay.
That goes up to +2 to D6, and you gain some other. You get a network penetration, a cell gem. So I think maybe this is supposed to be either or. The
Yeah.
watch is supposed to be kind of a Cold War era thing. The phone is supposed to be more of a modern thing, but I think with smartwatches, it kind
Yeah,
of
you
makes sense
could.
that we would go having spy watches like that. So,
Fun.
um,
Okay. Well, yeah, I
anyway,
made my
that was
character.
really cool stuff. So,
Well,
I
that
have
sounds fun.
pre-gens. We made one pre-gen for you, but if you
Okay.
want to use this one instead, we can.
We'll see. We'll see what the makeup looks like. If there's no one that can do, I'm pretty sure one character though is going to be able to do human stuff. But
Yeah, we can compare and see.
yeah,
And
yeah. Okay.
But I
Well,
know that
cool.
was kind of cool for those of you guys who, well, we won't spoil what Amy's character. We'll let Amy introduce her character when we
Yeah.
play. She had a cool idea.
All right.
So
But
Little Easter egg
anyway, so
buried in
thank you
there
so
for.
much, BJ, for going through. This is kind of neat.
Yeah, so
And I like my
we'll
character. Can you
I think
show
we're supposed to.
the character sheet again? Is it
I
save it?
can.
The icon one, the last one. Print version.
There
Is
we
that it?
go.
That's kind of neat. I like that.
Yep. That's 2 pages.
Yeah.
It'll print as 2 pages.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
Um,
one.
and
Or
we
you,
can
I
find we
guess
can
you could
find a
print it as a
picture somewhere,
landscape. Yeah.
Yeah. We can find, if you find a picture somewhere, you can put it into the input sheet and it'll put the
Oh,
picture there.
yeah, nice, nice. Good deal.
So,
All right. Well, good stuff. I got his
all
name.
right.
It's ready to go. Well, great.
So
Well,
we'll give it a chance and see how it goes. Looking at reviews online and talking to a couple people who played it. Like I talked to Daniel Norton and he said he played it at a conference and it was a good game. I think he said he preferred the original Top Secret, but this wasn't a bad game. He had really
yeah,
enjoyed playing it. And that's kind of what I've seen is the reactions are this is too different from the original Top Secret. I don't like it. But then there's kind of a very small enthusiastic community of fans out there that say, "Oh no, this is a lot of fun once you kind of get going." So we'll
yeah,
see how
yeah.
it works for us.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, BJ. Now that I have Matis Yanakowskis, maybe I'll get him to play some Top Secret New World Order.
All right.
Well, I'll talk to
Yep.
you later and hopefully see you later this week to play some more games, record some more stuff.
Yep.
But
All right.
you can say your thing.
I said, well, check out the Arcane Alienist podcast. It's been a few weeks since I put out an episode. I should have another one coming out in a few days though. But until we see you again, everybody who out there, take care of yourself and try to make someone happy today.
All right.